The Colombia Expedition. On this overland journey, we arguably discover one of the most diverse and surprising countries of our world tour. To many, it's known for two things: guns and drugs. From the Caribbean islands to the desert of La Guajira, through the forests and the high peaks of the Andes Mountains, we experience 1,000 different worlds within this one country. Everywhere we went, we were met by the generous, welcoming spirits of the Colombian people. We were invited into homes, gave hitchhiking rides to farmers, negotiated our way through 100 roadblocks, traveled with local overlanders, helped plant corals with fishermen on the islands. This expedition will take you beyond the headlines to discover the real Colombia, one that is alive, vibrant, diverse, and dances to its own and unique beat. That's the sound of South America. We're coming. Woo!
We are Nick and Mathilde, and we've left everything behind to travel the 7 continents with our Land Rover Defender, the Albatross.
Europe, North America, South America, Antarctica, Australia, Asia, and Africa. A world tour for real. We want to see it all.
Get ready, this is a Colombia special episode.
This is the Next Meridian Expedition.
Reaching Colombia was an adventure in itself. Coming from Central America, there is no way to drive because of the infamous stretch of land called the Darien Gap. 100 kilometers of mountains, jungles and waterways controlled by the drug traffickers. So we packed up the Albatross, delivered it at the port, and decided to sail ourselves through this crossing. Long story short, after 5 days of sailing boat, we were reaching the port of the gorgeous Cartagena de Indias.
The beast is finally out and in Colombia, breathing the South American air. Nice. Albo turned on right away. I don't think there's any mold, so that's perfect. We had these prepared and they were actually full of water, and so you can see it's finished its job. But I'm gonna leave it here until we get the car out. So excited! Woo! Finally done. Hopefully tomorrow we can bring out the car, otherwise it'll be Friday.
Oh, AC.
AC.
Welcome to
Cartagena!
The city is beautiful, but it's boiling hot.
We're eager to hit the road, but we have to wait for our car to be cleared from the port. So while we wait, we visit the superb Cartagena and its colorful buildings and paved streets. We also start planning our route, so we sketch a path, first heading north to the remote and rugged desert of La Guajira, then south to where the Andes begin, before exploring the bustling valleys of Bogota, Medellin, and Cali, then onwards to Ecuador. As for everything in between, we'll discover that along the way. Now, it's time to get the car out of the port and start this adventure. All right, off we go. Time to pack up the car.
We are officially all packed up, ready for South America.
Let's start.
Let's start.
So can you imagine, right now, it's the first time, apart from the port obviously, that we open Albatross on the South American continent, that we're going to turn the key of the ignition. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
That's the sound of South America. We're coming.
Woo! As we leave Cartagena behind, our first objective is to reach the northernmost point of the South American continent, in a unique desert region, La Guajira. The heat is oppressive, so each evening we go in the mountains to camp in fresher temperatures. Before we even finish parking, Bienvenido, a local worker, comes over to greet us. He offers us fruits. He even invites us for food at his home. When we ask about safety in the area, he tells us the place is still under the control of the guerrilla. If you have any trouble, he says, the guerrilla will help you. All right, noted. Jokes aside, It's our first night on the road, and we are immediately touched by the generosity of the locals.
I'm super excited, and
Super excited too!
okay, we're super excited because we get to use our little water for brushing your teeth. We got the little fan here waiting for us. Tomorrow we go all the way to the top of Colombia, to Punta Gallina, which is like the desert, and it is the tip of Colombia. And every time we told a Colombian we're going there, they're like, oh man, that's pretty cool. And
it's more than just the tip of Colombia.
It's
the northernmost point of the South American continent.
There you go. Hello 1. Hello 2. Blanket. Nick.
Good night, and tomorrow, Punta Gallinas.
Now we are the next morning and we're picking up Rafa in the Defender and we're bringing him down the valley to Santa Marta. So there we go, friends of friends are our friends and we're all together now. So we're gonna bring him down. Okay, chao. Gracias.
No, sí. Yo trabajo acá con Gabriel.
Ajá.
Entonces, no quería que bajara porque tiene unos trabajos que hacer, pero entonces usted sabe que uno también tiene la obligación de la casa.
Sí.
Y tengo que pagar los servicios de la casa, bueno. Y me llamó la señora, mi hijo, véngase porque el gas lo cortaron porque...
Oh no.
Entonces hay que ir a arreglar ese...
Sí, ok.
Sí, claro.
Yo soy Nico.
Nico,
Sí.
Ah, qué bien, oiga.
Y Matilde.
Encantado.
Matilde.
Matilde.
We say goodbye to Rafa and drive several more hours north. Slowly, the landscape begins to change. A single pothole-ridden road stretching endlessly ahead, and a mining railway running alongside. It's almost end afternoon on our second day of driving to the northernmost point of the South American continent, and it's been a long day of driving.
Very long.
The road was really good, but it's getting a bit bumpy now. There's kind of holes in the concrete.
Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Todo bien y
¿Cómo
tú?
van? ¿Cómo están?
Bien y tú?
Bien, bien. ¿De dónde vienen?
Francia.
Francia,
Sí.
ahí cerca.
Ahí
Sí, cerca.
Ahí cerquita, ahí
Sí.
mismito.
Sí, sí.
¿Me permite su registro breve? Una requisa.
Sí.
As sunset approaches, we still don't know where to sleep in this desert. Normally, we just pick a random spot on the roadside, but reports on the travel app OVERLAND warn of shootings in the area. As sun sets, we run into a second checkpoint and decide to check with the police where we could sleep.
No, estamos...
Va a poner el dron.
Sí, es para una vuelta con el drone.
Ah, ok,
Sí.
dale.
Sí.
Pero sí sabe llegar y todo, ¿no?
¿Ah?
Sí sabe llegar.
Sí, sabemos cómo ir, sabemos, sí.
Ah, ok,
Un segundo.
Dale.
Aquí, aparcar aquí no es bueno.
No,
No.
aquí no hay problema en ningún lado.
Ajá.
Acá no hay problema, no problem.
Ok,
No hay guerrilla.
No,
No hay guerrilla.
es tranquilo.
No hay ladrón. Si te vas a bajar del carro, sube los vidrios, asegura
It
todo.
will have to do for tonight. We set up camp hidden between some cacti and the pitch black darkness. Tomorrow, the big adventure in La Guajira begins. Made it to camp!
made it to camp! Ah, tired.
That was a long day and it took us longer than expected to actually find a camp spot. We didn't quite organize this super well, but eventually the police told us that it was safe in the area if we get closer to this town called Cabo. So that's what we did. We're camping in the middle of Salinas. So we woke up in doubt this morning.
We were thinking, since we're in the northernmost point area, not point, this is where we are right now, the blue dot. The idea is, do we drive all the way till the tip?
Which is the actual northernmost point. This is the red dot on the map.
To get there, it's another 5 hours of road, almost 5.5, completely through mud and dirt road. We need to go through all this driving and all this trouble and all this, effort for saying that we got to the most northern point.
I don't think there's only the northernmost point up there. Like, the dunes are awesome, the off-road will be fun, It looks beautiful on the images.
And it would be a challenge, but it will be a fun one. We are next meridian after all.
Yeah, that's true.
Did we ever say that in one of our YouTube videos?
I don't think so. But we did now.
In times of doubt, we've learned never to take the easy way out. We chose to venture deeper, to meet the Wayu, the only people never conquered by the Spanish, and you will understand why. Surviving in this region is not for the weak. And let the off-roading begin! Woo! You need a little cushion under your seat.
Yeah, I do. I'm no lady.
Reaching the tip of La Guajira is easier said than done. There are no road signs, no properly mapped routes, just a sprawling network of tracks, hundreds of them leading in every direction. Right now we're gonna start the off-road. So we're getting off the main road all the way until Punta Gallinas, the northern point here, and in total it's about 76 kilometers. One thing is good that we have the expertise on using off-road system maps, because otherwise we would really get lost. And the second option that we've got is if we're really lost or something, we do have this Garmin satellite phone. So in case something happens to us, then we can always use that. The road says go straight, but it looks really bad, really like you sink into the mud. So we're just gonna do a little detour, but if you look there, there's all these car tracks that are just like flipping mud everywhere.
Woo! We found our trail again.
Yeah, now the next problem is the water.
There's a lot of water here.
Yeah, we're not doing this anymore. All right. Woo! Yeah, no more of these type of roads.
But now we're not even out of here.
Almost, but we're not out yet.
It is so sticky.
And it's actually really heavy.
Yeah, it looks like it. He's out! We made it! Our first recovery of albatross!
So heavy.
The shovel doubled in weight. I'm happy, I have to say, because that doesn't happen to us a lot. I was quite stressed. Nick was like, yeah, we're going to make it. Me, I was like, I don't want to spend 3 days here. Just one big block of mud. I think the tire is about here, and all of this is just mud. Ugh.
Now we stick to the desert road instead of the random road.
Over there, all small, 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 small. A motorbike. It means we're back on the road.
De Punta Gallinas para ahí puedo. Sí. Ok. Ok, carretera y después así. Ok, gracias. Ciao.
Ciao, guys.
Gracias. The main trails aren't much better, but at least we reduce the risk of getting stuck far from any help. On these routes, a new challenge awaits us. We're in Wayuu territory, and with the rise in tourism over the recent years, a new business has emerged. Every family set up a rope across the road, sometimes 3 or 4 per family, demanding a toll, known as a peaje.
In like 500 meters we got 7 ropes, something like this.
Yeah.
We knew there would be the roadblocks, but I think we didn't imagine the scale of it. And honestly, if like we were kids in this area, we would just probably do the same thing, or even adults. Like when you see the place, I don't know if it shows in the video, but it's so remote, like people really don't have much in this region. Then you have those visitors coming, and just with the big cars and tons of things in it, so yeah, it seems like the logical thing to do.
In majority it's kids who actually pull up a rope, like in this situation. There's a kid, and Mathilde, usually what she does is she drives very slowly and tries to, you know, sort of force the way through. The way of pushing the rope down, you know, slowly is actually a common rule. Everybody does it because there's no other way, and the kids usually they just let go of the rope because they're not playing the tough game. The adults are playing the tough game, and so we need to keep the gifts for the adults in that sense.
Life in the desert is tough. The landscape is dotted with a few goats and modest homes, far removed from any economic center. The Wayuu people have called this unforgiving region home for generations. At the tolls, what they ask for? Coffee, cookies, and cash. Those luxuries rarely make it out this far, except in the hands of passing travelers like us. There are different types of tolls. There are the easy ropes, those that drop even before we ask for it. There are the unattended ones, the do-it-yourselves. Then there's the pushy ones, those who want cash absolutely.
Es difícil porque 200, 300. No.
And then you have the family roadblocks, those with 1 rope per children. And despite the rough terrain and the tolls, we never felt threatened. It was just very long.
We are 2/3 of the way. It's been a long way. It's already been 5 hours that we're on the road, and we had at least 50 of those paying barriers, maybe even more. Actually trying to save as many for tomorrow on the way back, and we'll distribute as much as we can tomorrow and just give it all away because we bought it home specific for this.
Like, you know, what do you do? It's the...
What would you do? Right?
Yeah, what would you do? In comments. We're really in a gray zone morally here. What would one do, you know? made it to Punta Gallinas, and it's very convenient because at the faro, the lighthouse, there is an illustration. So this is South America. We are here in Colombia, and Punta Gallinas is the northernmost point. So you see we're really close to Venezuela, just on the other side. And then this is the map of the peninsula of Punta Gallina, with the border with Venezuela. And here we are, the faro de Punta Gallinas. It was very tiring, but this is the northernmost point of this continent, and it's also the last time we're going to see the Caribbean, so it's really good.
Surrounded by nothing but desert, next to the old lighthouse battered by the wind, we thought we were alone.
Chichi.
¿Y eso es la película?
Sí.
¿De quién?
De María.
¡De María!
María Auxiliadora. El cielo se ve.
¿Dónde está María? ¿Ustedes van a la escuela?
Sí.
¿Sí? Entonces, hoy no hay escuela, mañana hay. ¿Y dónde está la
Mañana
escuela?
es feriado, ¿sí? Feriado.
Ah, mañana es feriado.
Pero para nosotros hay clase.
¿Hay clase para ustedes?
Sí, porque vamos a salir de vacaciones.
Hola.
Hola.
¿Cómo te llamas?
María.
María. ¿Tú?
Juan Carlos.
Juan Carlos.
Henry.
Henry. Yo me llamo Nico.
Yeah.
Matilde.
Matilde. Doña Matilde.
They looked just like the hundreds of children we had driven past all day. They shared stories of their lives. Henry, the eldest, expressed frustration with tourists donating school supplies that never seemed to reach them. Maria's favorite subject was math, and Juan Carlo dreams of owning a bicycle. Something his parents couldn't afford. We couldn't help but think of all the other children along the way and their dreams.
We are showered. We say goodbye to our three little friends.
That's the beautiful sunset of the northern point of South America. We are having pasta with tomatoes.
I like this.
And it's really good. Anyway, we're gonna enjoy the moment because now it's all south.
It is time to leave Punta Gallinas. We do the road in the other direction. This time we give everything that we've carried all the way. Nos conocemos, ¿sí?
Hola. Ok. Tenemos frutos tropicales.
Sí.
¿Está bien?
Sí.
Ok.
Perdiendo entre las sombras, desvaneciendo, siempre otro despedir, a veces más lento.
We made it out of the whole region of Punta Gallinas. It was a long few days, it was hot and dusty, but we're super happy we made it up north, so northernmost point of the South American continent. It was
Very tiring.
Yeah, probably a bit harder than what we expected. Also just, you know, emotionally dealing with the ropes and how do we need to behave with the communities. What a start. La Guajira was, without a doubt, the most shocking introduction to our journey through Colombia. But that was just the warm-up. A shower for the albatross and Nick. And we put the compass onto the next target. Next, we set our sights on the legendary Andes Mountains, the backbone of the South American continent. From sea level to 4,000 meters in elevation, it promised to be quite the drive, when we actually managed to fill up our tank with fuel.
We were going full speed toward the mountains, super nice road, really ready when we cannot unlock our fuel tank. The key enters but doesn't turn, so now we're waiting for someone to help us.
Sí, eso. Es suave.
Okay. Sandwich negro. I just kept turning for like a whole 5 minutes slowly without putting any pressure. And all of a sudden it just went through. Wow. El.
At 1,300 meters, we arrive in Playa de Belén, a jewel in the department of Norte de Santander, home to the curious rock formation of Los Estoraques. It's not quite the Andes yet, but it's a start.
Wow. Woo! Woo! These geoformations are super nice. They've been all carved by wind and water over time, and it's all these little single foot tracks going all around the geoformations. There's more up there, more over there. Wow, this looks adventurous.
Look at this tree.
Wow. Feels like, you remember when we were in Utah walking through the canyons?
Yeah. And I think we found a legit camp spot. Really nice. So we have the view on the park we were exploring earlier, but it's not too warm, it's not humid, there's a bit of a soft breeze. I love it, I love it. We're going to install everything and then cook. It doesn't show on videos, but all of Central America, we couldn't really stay outside very late because one, it was super warm and humid, and two, there was a lot of mosquitoes. Here at 1,500, no mosquitoes. We still have the sun, so we decided to do a little drink.
Sin tus caderas no puedo cantar. Sin tus caderas no puedo gozar.
The next day, we continue southeast, seeking the high Andes in the eastern range. This time, we're leaving the main roads behind. We take a shortcut through the main mountains instead of following the valley. Our goal is to reach the iconic white villages of Santander, but we're moving very, very slowly.
Sin tus caderas no hay fiesta, no hay ron. Sin tus caderas, sin movimiento, mi ritmo y música va a parar. Sin tu cadera, mi melodía no vale nada. Ay, 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 pa' la sierra.
That is a long day on super small roads, mountain roads. We plan to do 140 kilometers and I think it's going to take us about 8 hours total. Our average speed is 20 kilometers per hour. We're really slow, but it's beautiful. We're crossing coffee and cacao plantations, tons of small villages. They're all like put on the edge of the cliff. It feels really remote, like anyone who needs to go anywhere from here, it's several hours by motorcycle. And yeah, I can't imagine what it is to live here.
Ay, muévete, mami, ahora. Muévete, ay, muévete. Dice, muévete, mami, ahora. Muévete, muévete. Bueno, señores y señores, en el tren anda Doni. Tresero de Manigua.
Look at that canyon, it looks like there's a rain in between one of them. Wow, very cool. This off-road is really sweet. We have to keep going though. This is where we are parked tonight, in the center of a tiny little village actually. There's a church over there. There is a tiny little restaurant here and then a few houses all around, and we're parked right here. Now, why are we parked here? Because it got really dark quickly, like it started getting dark quickly. I think in 30 minutes it's dark. And so we decided to just ask a village if we could sleep here. And so we were allowed, and they seemed really nice, like they usually are. We've always had nice encounters. And tomorrow they're celebrating the Father Juan Jose, as he died a year ago, and they're all working hard, preparing, making it all clean, all ready for tomorrow. For now, we're gonna set up camp, have dinner, and then relax. Out of nowhere, they said, okay, come on, take a shower. Yeah, don't be shy, no problem. And if you guys need anything, you just let us know, and tomorrow morning we can make you breakfast. And we were like, this is crazy. So now, shower time. Bye-bye. He even made us a little soup, and so we're going to have soup. Not really sure what there is in here, but it looks like carrots, potatoes, plantain probably, a bit of chicken maybe. But such a sweet thing to do.
It's really nice to arrive in this place and meet those amazing people, because today was a bit of a special day for us. This morning we woke up and we got a message from travelers in front of us who got attacked during the night on their wild camp spots. It shook us a bit because, you know, we travel exactly like them, and it got us thinking of how we should prepare. So then we were kind of looking at people along the street with a different angle than usual. And so arriving here and meeting those great people, we're going back into our usual mood of like, we should trust people. Some bad things happen and we have a few like solutions in place to mitigate that. But generally, we just meet amazing people, and people in this village are great. What a beautiful breakfast. What do you have?
Eggs, looks like a pancake, cheese, crackers, and a soup, which I'm not sure. There's an egg.
Yeah, it's an egg.
Okay.
And this is arepas. It's the typical pancake from here.
Okay.
Buen provecho.
Cada una más o menos un promedio de unos 2.200 familias.
2.200. Ah, es bastante grande, ¿eh?
La mayor economía aquí es
Cacao.
cacao, sí, agricultura. Okay. Colombian hospitality struck again. Where our maps estimated an 8-hour drive, it took us 2 full days to reach the beautiful white villages of Santander.
That's what's coming up next. We are heading more east in the mountain range now. We know there is a way to cross the mountains. We've heard some people did it, but we're not quite sure on how is the road and if it's possible to cross all the way. So Nick is now trying to map a route, and then we'll probably need to confirm with people from the village down there.
Looking like it's gonna be tough. Down there is La Cepita, and then to take the off-road until the other side of the valley is actually 40 kilometers or 35 kilometers, but it could easily take between like 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, I have no idea. Look at that.
That's where we're going. Bienvenido a Cepita. Crazy, we're just driving in this village and then we see this blue parrot. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. He's just here, he's just chilling in front of a house.
While I was taking pictures, all of a sudden this lady came out of her building and said, "Hey, why don't you guys come in for a juice or something?" And we were like, "Oh, okay, sure." She seemed really nice. And so we went in, we spent about 15 minutes talking while drinking the juice. And one thing that's funny is that we had read that here in Cepita, village with the nicest people of Colombia. And literally, I think it is, because 2 minutes into getting into the town, taking pictures of this bird, this lady says, "Hey, come over and have a juice," and incredible.
Yeah. We actually asked Maria Luisa also to confirm our itinerary to the next village on the other side of the mountains. So she told us one of the routes we were thinking about is not possible to cross, but the one that Nick had mapped is possible. She said it's still a long way, but you can do it. So let's go. One would not be into. This is one facing a truck in the middle of a mountain road. I don't know if it shows on videos the steepness of the fields where people planted. It's like almost vertical.
This is incredible. Never would have thought that we would get ourselves in these types of situations. Now it's the second mountain we're crossing in a row, and they're both completely different and both as incredible. South America looks promising.
Our next challenge is to find a place to sleep, because there's nothing more rare than flat land in the mountain range like this. We even see like the little houses, they're taking the few spaces that can be flattened. So now let's try to find a spot for the big albatross. We found a place to camp next to the road, but there's not much traffic passing by, and mainly we have a beautiful view. It was not easy to find a place to park because there's not much flat ground, but this one is perfect. And we asked the authorization to the people who live just under here, and they said we can stay.
We are at 2,100 meters altitude.
and crazy view. Sunset is about to go, and tonight, burgers. Burger night. Oh my god, burgers!
Burger.
Whoa!
With a view.
We are not far, we can feel it. The mountains are already much higher, but it's not because you're getting high that you're getting there. Before reaching our objective, we still need to go down a last valley for climbing all the way up to the Andes. Last night we slept at 2,200 meters of elevation, and then today on the road we went all the way down to like 1,000, a bit less. And now we're going all the way back up, and we're probably going to sleep around 4,000 meters. So it's going to be cold, but we're really looking forward to seeing how it looks up there. Before reaching up there, as we say, we have at least one last set of valleys to cross. Did you know that on Patreon we record all of our tracks, all of our campsites? We provide for the Patreon family exclusive news, exclusive articles about our encounters, and all of the practical information you need to travel in Colombia and all of the other countries that we've been traveling to. And by subscribing to our Patreon, you also support the journey as a whole.
There are 22 kilometers left, and now we're off road, it says, and we're at 2,400 meters altitude, and we're supposed to reach 4,000. So I'm guessing, since it's only 22 kilometers and 1,600 meters go up, it's going to be straight like this the whole way.
Reaching El Cocuy felt like a major milestone, both for our journey in Colombia and for our entire South American adventure. Located at 3,000 meters and home to the Hua people, the feeling of being in the Andes is undeniable. At these elevations, back home, we'd expect only rocks and snow. Here, we are surrounded by pastures of green grass.
'95, '96, '97, '98, '99, 4,000! Woo! High five! Nice.
After a full day of driving, we made it at 4,000 meter elevation.
Woo! Nice job. And good job to Albo. It's the first time with us anyways that he's going so high, which is awesome. It's working perfectly well. And the view here is amazing.
Yeah, and it's the first time we actually really feel in the Andes, like the vegetation is completely different. We're going to see it a bit more tomorrow on the hike we're doing. And from our camp spot, not only we have a beautiful landscape, but we also see the snow up the mountains of El Cocuy National Park. And this snow has a specific meaning too, and we'll also talk about it tomorrow.
This place is truly incredible.
Yeah, look at this sunset over there. It's beautiful.
Oh man. Woo!
We woke up at 4,000 meters, and I have to say I feel it a bit, like a bit of a headache, but the sun is amazing. How did you sleep?
Slept really well. I was even a little bit too warm at times. No headache. Slept pretty nice. The first thing is, will Albo turn on in this cold weather? Now it's about 10 Celsius. Overnight it was between 3 and 4. Let's see.
Oh! Woo!
The snow we can see up in the mountains and the glacier all over there. Like a very special signification here in Cocuy National Park. The park belongs to the Uwa people and they considered the snow sacred. The snow and the glaciers have been melting at an unprecedented rate, so they really saw like what they considered as a sacred piece of their land to be disappearing. They assimilated the change of their environment with the tourism that was being developed. And so the park has actually been closed for an entire, I don't think, 3 years, blocked the entire access and told the government if we reopen it's going to be at our condition. And nowadays the whole eastern part of the park is entirely closed except to the indigenous people. And in this part of the park there's about 3 trails that are open and you need to have a guide to go there. It's beautiful out here. It's really a change from the coconut tree and beach vibe and it makes us so happy. It's a very unique ecosystem they call páramo here and there's only 5 countries in the world that have that kind of ecosystem.
In Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Venezuela and Kenya. And right here we're at 4,000 meters altitude. Made it to the first lagoon. Took us just about an hour. Whoa. Here it is. That water looks very cold, but also very fresh. And there's a second lagoon which is just up there. So we definitely do feel, you know, that we're out of air, but it's okay. This is just the beginning of all the Andes. We're extremely happy to finally be up here in the Andes because it just feels like a different culture, a different scene. I mean, it's very green, also very cold. We had to put on the diesel heater. We pulled out one of the sleeping bags. It just feels much more cozy, but at the same time, the sceneries are splendid and we can't wait to continue the journey all the way until Ushuaia with mostly mountainous roads like that.
And we're also quite excited because coming up next week is meeting with some people from the Overland community in Colombia. We've been in contact with them for a long time virtually, so we're really looking forward to meeting them in person.
From the edges of the desert to the heights of the Andes, it's time to descend to Colombia's lush valleys and bustling cities. And as we approach more populated areas, including the capital of Bogota, we have a lot of people to meet.
We're on our way now to meet up with Roberto and Andre, and they're from Colombia. They are actually living next to Bogota and have invited us to stay over. So we're about to meet him in the next minute. We're looking for his car right now.
Since we've been on the road, there's a lot of people from the overlanding community in Colombia that we've been in contact with. So it's super nice to like finally meet them. and in the next few days it's going to be all about meeting those travelers, those Colombians, and we're going to travel together, have drinks together, and get to know each other.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Where are you from? France. France? Yeah. Wow. Hi.
Welcome to Colombia.
Thank you very much. We have our Colombian friend here. Finally!
Expedition! ¿Cómo estás?
Hola.
Hola.
¿Todo bien?
Our first hosts, Roberto and Andrea, welcomed us to their place. We had been in contact for months on Instagram before we actually meet.
And now we have Rob for the flag of Colombia, first flag of South America.
Right. What an honor, what an honor. This is the Colombian flag. It's the yellow means the richness of our country, the blue our two oceans, and red the blood that was given by the people who gave us the freedom.
You got it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Amazing.
Colombia.
High
Yes.
Nice.
Cool.
Come back, please.
Oh,
I love the little patch of clean in the middle of the dirt. It's like Colombia. Hi Rob.
Hello, good morning.
Check out this new bag that we had. So before we had this one, which is Trasharoo
Classic.
Classic, and it was starting to really like break.
After
And
1 year of travel.
for 1 year of travel, and the worst parts are here, meaning that it would have fallen one day on the road.
They got us an entirely custom new bag, made just for us.
I think you're gonna like it a lot.
The coolest part, he customized it with our logo on it, so it looks great. So we can't wait to use it. Thank you so much.
Enjoy
for
it. Enjoy it.
Great.
do okay.
45 minutes, right? Like this?
Yeah.
Like down like that and like this?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Today we're going to meet two other Colombian overlanders and we're looking for them. Hola.
Hi. ¿Cómo van?
We're How are you?
Good.
We had breakfast in those little kitchens that are delicious. There's all the way over there. And now we're getting ready to go.
Okay, let's go. We have a Pathfinder, which is Overland Sally from Bogota. We have in second place the FJ40, which
Estoraques.
is Hernan from Colombia but lives in San Diego and actually came to our very first meetup. So this is the second meetup and he's here as well with the whole family. And now it's us with the Defender, so just 3 cars. We're going to be doing a 3-hour loop through the mountains.
Hola. A telephone on the phone.
Our little convoy embarks on a small journey in the countryside of the region of Bogota. Our favorite kind of encounters. A day with people from the country is often more valuable to understand a place than 2 weeks traveling on your own. And of course, we went for some vehicle swaps.
Okay. So yeah, I mean just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But, you know, comfort wasn't a priority for Toyota in 1980, so
Makes sense, I will get used to it.
no suspension.
No suspension.
Alan, don't break anything.
I won't break anything on his car. It's a fair deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fair deal.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Oh, it's off, right?
I don't know what to do with all this space at the legs level.
That's fun, man. Everything is so mechanical.
Yeah. I love the giant steering wheel.
The clutch, it's so different than ours.
It
Years
is
ago.
bumpy.
It is bumpy compared to ours.
You want to buy a Defender now?
That's a great question.
Let's talk about that later.
Looks like.
Okay, with the zip ties. Zip ties always fixes everything.
I know, right? Zip tie and that tape.
Duct tape, we're done. We're set.
I have both.
Back on the FJ?
It was great. It's
I don't want. Don't ask when I'm here. I want to be honest.
It's very mechanical, very bumpy, but I love the feel. And it's honestly really nice. And the windshield and the view of point is so much better than the Defender. finally made it to the waterfall. It's 3 stories of waterfall, actually multi-story. Look how many levels there are of waterfall.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Quite hard to get up here. It took us a bit of time, I would say 4 hours. But we finally made it. And I think tonight we're camping somewhere down here.
I have someone here who wants to say something to the video.
Welcome to Colombia. To be honest, it's a good moment to be in Colombia.
What is your favorite thing about Colombia?
My favorite part of Colombia is all of the water. There's tons of waterfalls.
Ah, the waterfalls. Yeah. It's an adventure place?
Yes, lakes, rivers, waterfalls, animals, and a lot of fun stuff.
Nice. Thanks so much for describing Colombia for me. High five? Yay! Thank you, Marcelo.
Good morning!
Good morning! We were driving down the road from the mountains to Bogota, and then one turn and Bogota! It's huge!
Tengo piquete, la gente dice el chamaco le mete, solo en la cabeza tengo los billetes, tengo piquete, estoy bien, no tengo de 100, pero tengo los míos, hermano.
We discover a giant city of red brick buildings and wide streets. Today, we're here for a meetup we organized in Bogota, and we honestly couldn't believe how many people came to see us. But our arrival was minor compared to the event happening that night. The country's 2 biggest football teams were facing off for the national title. And that night, Bogota won. Continuing our journey through the valleys, we make our way to the infamous city of Medellin. We've just arrived in Medellin. In 5 minutes we arrive in town, and as you can see all around, it's crazy huge buildings everywhere, and actually the whole mountains on both sides of the valley have been completely constructed with house. And this is the town of Pablo Escobar, a bit of history obviously. From the 80s and 90s, one of the biggest drug trafficker. So it's kind of interesting that we're going to visit the whole town, which is super beautiful now and pretty safe, but yeah, it's such a interesting sensation. Far from its outdated reputation as a drug capital, we discover a city built of red bricks, blessed with an ever-perfect spring climate and filled with green parks. We explore it using the fantastic public transportation system, which makes it easy to get around. And surprisingly, we even end up camping right in the city center. Something we never would have imagined.
We are going
to the cable cars.
To the cable cars. We can see them just here living. I actually did that was to go skiing. Ooh. Hola.
Estoy puesto para darte miles. Asegúrate que yo te puedo cuidar. Por la manera en que te vistes, sabes que llama la atención. Igualito como tú me envolviste. A todos los tipos te adoran, pero su bolsillo tan vacío y te ríe de ellos cuando insistes.
After 1 metro, 1 cable car and 1 bus, we made it to Comuna 13. It's a neighborhood that started building completely informally in the 60s, 70s, and then the neighborhood during the 80s and 90s was completely used as a transit zone for drugs. So it was very dangerous during those 2 decades. And since the beginning of the 2000s, it's been rehabilitated, and now it's kind of this street art, still kind of a poor neighborhood, but very pretty and with an amazing view on the city.
And the view is beautiful, and there's a lot of green.
Alright, Nico! Leaving the big cities behind, we set our sights on a special project in an entirely new region of the country. We thought we were done with the deadly heat of the Caribbean, but a golden opportunity opened up for us to contribute to an incredible initiative. So we headed to Isla Fuerte to work with the local community on planting corals. Why are coral reefs so important for the communities of Isla Fuerte? First, the island's population relies heavily on fishing for its subsistence. Over the past decades, the coral reefs around the island have slowly started to die off, causing a decline in fish populations and directly impacting the livelihoods of the local people. Bottom line, the corals went from this to that, and this phenomenon is ongoing. But let's not be pessimistic. There are people who care deeply. First, the one and only Fabio. We call him Profe, or teacher, a renowned biologist who's been coming in the island for the past 20 years and led the coral planting efforts.
Entonces empecé a sembrar corales con varias técnicas, ver qué funcionaba, qué no funcionaba, y eso me permitió ir desarrollando la técnica que vamos a usar.
Then, Papo, our local guide. Papo grew up on Isla Fuerte and knows the place like his pocket, on land and underwater. He has learned alongside Fabio methods to plant coral and now leads and inspires the community to contribute. Daliana, that you'll see around, a young, bright teenager from the island that accompanies this expedition to learn and be able to continue these efforts in the future. Now that the team is introduced, ready to start the work.
With this incredible team, we learned everything we need to know. First, we collected clay from the island to prepare tablets that would serve as base for the coral fragments. We gathered pieces of still living coral, carefully cleaned them, and then set up coral nurseries where they could grow stronger for about a year before being replanted.
Yo me quedo ayudando desde arribita. ¿Está bien? ¿Es la tuya? Sí, sí. Cógela de la
had to learn how to use the platform, the coral and the cement underwater, because the coolest part is about to start. We're going to be wearing our full scuba dive set. We're going to go 6 meters down and do this whole operation underwater. Training here on the ground, so this is us scuba diving under the water. We're going to put this meter down, hold it down with rocks, use our platforms, use the cement, use one of these to sort of make sure that the platform is holding down, and we're going to be doing all of this underwater, super exciting, and then we'll be planting the corals. Finally, planting day arrived. The task is delicate, so we began by practicing on land. Suddenly, everyone was focused and serious. Practicing in a bucket of water is one thing, but doing it underwater, communicating only through hand signals, with limited time and surrounded by other fragile corals, it's something else entirely. The tension on everyone's face was unmistakable. We were all nervous. We had to extend the lines, secure the clay plates, and ensure every detail was right before the corals could be planted.
Give me something, something good. I get wasted on the thought of you. Head is spinning, I can't move. Smoky eyes in a groove. No, I can't get you out of my mind.
A las 11:27.
You're still with me all the time. Oh, how long will I have to wait? How long have we been too late? Now I wish that we never met, so that I don't have to try to forget you.
Everyone is now in full working mode. Everyone has a task and is dedicated to it. To start with, we extend the lines and secure the clay plates. And with that, we are ready for the most delicate part of the operation. Nick and I work in pair, and slowly we find a rhythm. The objective is to plant as many as possible before the end of our oxygen tank.
We can finally breathe easily again. The operation is over for this round. And to celebrate our efforts, Daliana, our young guide, and her friend from the island's Champeta Dance Club, a traditional dance from Colombia, gave us a dance lesson.
Es difícil disimular lo que pasa por mi mente cuando te tengo de frente, yeah. Esas ganas de tocar ese cuerpo lentamente, divertirnos malamente con tu piel. Baila hasta que la noche se acabe, bailamos salsa y reggaetón. Eres hermosa y a tu cuerpo lo sabe, que bailas con esa pasión. Si lo haces como eso lo mueves, yo me imagino eso en acción.
Now we're going to the coffee region of Colombia. There's like these huge palm trees, cocoa farms, coffee farms, and this is about 6 hours south of Medellin, which is the road we're on. We're going to be joining up some friends that we had met in Mexico and again in Bogota from America.
In the lovely city of Solento, we met again with Cody and Olivia, we had not seen for 6 months. If you don't know them yet, you can get to know them in our previous episodes from Baja California.
Looking at her phone. Going to look. Going to see us.
Come on!
Hello. Buenos dias.
Oh,
Going.
nice.
Cruise back together.
Together with Cody and Olivia, we set off to explore the Cocora Valley in search for the world's tallest palm trees. And yes, this isn't an exaggeration.
We're going to get out our little radios so that we can communicate.
Action!
How many PSI you putting in there?
22 in the rear because it's heavier, and then about 20 in the front.
Hello, hello, just testing.
We can hear you.
All right. So this track is about 80 kilometers total. Today we're going to try and do 55 of them. So let's see how long it takes. It's 11 a.m. and we just started the track. Our first palm tree. There's so many, but here's our first one.
It's there. Not only they're tall, up to 60 meters, but they're also very high. We're almost at
3,000 meter altitude, and look how thin they are. They're really like
super cool.
Look beautiful. And our friends just arrived.
First palm tree!
Butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly. PJ, no, there's not a
PB&J.
PB&J.
Yes, an American classic. This is PB&B, peanut butter and banana.
So what do you call ham, tuna, tomato, salad, cheese?
Meat sandwich?
Meat sandwich. There we go. Tonight we're all getting ready to make dinner as a group. Mathilde?
Yeah.
What are you making?
In memory of the good old days in Mexico, we're doing tacos tonight.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Hey Olivia.
Yeah?
What's happening in here?
Just making some veggies and rice for tacos.
Woo! Nice. Looks really good.
Everyone thinks it looks good too.
Yeah.
good night to sleep next to the river. Time to wrap up and go.
I do feel that cheers, dude. Cheers, cheers. Looks like we're gonna be here for a while. I hope not. We're stuck.
It looks like the coffee tour is compromised.
Probably. Are they fixing a flat?
I don't know.
Fixing something?
I'll ask, think.
Un peu plus par là. Ouais, de la place. Ok.
Mucho espacio. We were actually lucky to cross at this point because it was not that narrow. I wouldn't want to have crossed in other spaces where it's super steep on the sides.
Awesome.
What did you think of it?
I loved it. That was amazing. It felt like exactly what I pictured Colombia being. Like green, lush mountains, beautiful driving, 4x4 off-road, mud, water. It was money. Perfect.
This region is home to one of Colombia's most famous exports. Right alongside Shakira, I named coffee. If someone asked me how to understand Colombia's history, I tell them to first understand the history of coffee. The guerrilla movement and drug trade that have long been associated with the country are often deeply connected to the control and economics of coffee growing land. In Colombia, coffee is both a blessing and a curse. Our last stop in Colombia takes us to the magnificent Las Lajas sanctuary, perched dramatically above a canyon. Here, we find ourselves right at the border with Ecuador. Colombia really surprised us all the way till the very end.
It's hard to accept that our time in Colombia is over. We leave with some of our best memories and most meaningful encounters, and with a sense that the world simply doesn't do justice to this remarkable country. Beyond the headlines of drugs and violence, we've learned that the suspicion breeds suspicion, and violence breeds violence. But in Colombia, a smile and a good joke goes a long way. Most people are good, no matter where you are. Colombia, thank you.
¿Dónde está María?
Now you'll be famous on Instagram.
La vuelta.